Now, if you've been down along Kerr Street in Portrush the last couple of days, had a look across the harbour in the direction of where the lifeboat is sitting, then just beyond the lifeboat, a couple of Navy ships are sitting. One of them we're on board now is HMS Smiter. The one next door, I think its name is HMS Archer. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
The man who's just going to keep me correct in this is local guy Brian Diamond.
How's it doing? How are you doing, Dennis? You alright?
Not too bad at all. Good to see you. It's been quite a few years since we've seen you. How's it feel to come back into Portrush?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, there's whenever I sort of took this job on one of these patrol boats, I knew they actually come in here. So this was actually a bit of a career goal to actually bring the boat in and basically bring the Navy to Portrush and bring it home and let everybody see what I do.
It's one thing returning home. It's quite another returning home in a naval ship.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, But I'm like I say, it gives me an opportunity, to actually, get my friends and family and everything on board and actually have a nosy around the ship and everything and see how what I do as part of my day-to-day routine and job and everything and how I earn my wages basically.
Tell us a wee bit about this ship, HMS Smiter.
Yeah, so HMS Smiter is one of 14 P2000 class Archer class patrol boats which make up the 1st Patrol Boat Squadron. We're predominantly used for navigational training, not only with the Royal Naval University Reserve or Royal Naval University units, which are dotted around the country and everything, giving youngsters an opportunity to come and see what life is like in the Royal Navy and potentially join. But whenever we're at our home base in Portsmouth on the south coast of England, we also support the Maritime Warfare School down there as well. So we will actually take out navigators who are ultimately going to drive frigates and destroyers and the new aircraft carrier, just to basically get them through their their navigational training. And because if they can do it on this basics on here, then they can do it on the big ships as well. And myself as the engineer, I'm just basically providing power and making sure that the boat is actually available for any sort of training and tasking that we may be directed to take.
Well, we've had a look there just in the last few minutes, Brian, with your good self around the engine room. Pretty impressive.
No, yeah, we try to look after it and keep it clean.
What's the sort of speed capability of this boat?
This boat will do about 20 knots. Yeah, well, although I think we actually hit 24 yesterday with the wind and the tide coming behind us. So. Yeah,
and how many crew would be on board here?
We've got a permanent crew of 5. So myself as the engineer, I've got one deputy who works for me. We've got a seamanship specialist who's just a young lad, and then we've got a young lieutenant who's the commanding officer, and then we've got another chief petty officer who is effectively the executive officer and second in command.
Now, I remember you from Dunluce School, all those hazy number of years ago.
It was a while ago.
It is a while ago. So you left Dunluce School. What happened then between leaving Dunluce and getting into the Navy?
Basically, whenever I left school, I was sort of like trying to decide what I wanted to do with my life. And, I'd always had an interest in sort of like military and, like the sea and stuff like that. Yeah. So decided that, the Navy would maybe be a good career option or it'd even just sort of like buy me some time and everything while I figured out what I wanted to do. Yes. So because I was underage at the time, my dad actually had to sign the paperwork. So he said, best bit of advice he ever gave me was, you're only going in if you're going to get a trade out of them. So I ended up joining as what was known as an artificer apprentice back in the day. Yeah. So I basically did a 4-year apprenticeship with them, and then sort of like took it from there, I suppose.
And how long now have you been in?
Yeah, just shy of 19 years. Yeah, I did have a brief spell outside whenever I left and went to work in the oil and gas industry, but to be honest with you, I just kind of found that boring. And I came back in July 2015, and I've pretty much been with this boat ever since.
You're happy with this boat?
Best job in the Navy.
And can you see yourself doing another 10, 11, 12 years or whatever?
Yeah, possibly. It's like anything. You stay in as long as you enjoy it, and I really enjoy it at the moment. So yeah.
And what sort of places has either this boat or other boats taken you?
Well, on this boat, last year we were as far away as the Baltic, so I think Poland was as far as we got, but throughout my career I've been all over the place, sort of like the Baltic again, Mediterranean, Persian Gulf, Caribbean, South Pacific, all the way down as far as the Falklands and things, and sort of like, but having stops along the way in places such as South America. I spent, Christmas and New Year in Rio de Janeiro one year, which was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I've been around quite a bit.
But presumably going that distance to that part of the world, you were going in a bigger ship.
Yes, yeah, that was on HMS Southampton, which is sadly decommissioned a few years ago, but yeah, quite an aging Type 42 destroyer, but we worked hard to keep it going and everything, so yeah.
And what's the nicest place, if you recall, maybe most enjoyable that you've been to?
Apart from Portrush, the one that's most memorable is Barbados. because I was actually flying out there to join a ship, but the only flights that the RAF could give us was about 3 days before the ship actually got in, so I effectively had a paid holiday by the Navy and sat in a hotel for a couple of days waiting on the ship to arrive.
Oh dear. Somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
Now, just to take you back, and finally, we've already mentioned, was it nice to get back to Portrush, but you've said about some of the nicest places you've been and so on.
Yeah.
When you come back to Portrush, is it people, or is it places, or is it street names, or what are the memories you have, or what's good for you about coming back to this part of the world?
Obviously people, I'm I still see sort of like mates and friends and family and everything who are still sort of like within the area, but I'm I suppose the scenery as well. I'm very proud of this place, and I absolutely love it, and it's nice to actually bring our young students and everything to this area and get them out and about to actually see places. But even I was a Barry's boy up until I joined the Navy, and even coming into the bay last night and seeing the dipper and the rides going up and down, I was still thinking, some good days in there.
Did you say, I used to work there?
Yeah, I did actually, yeah.
What did the other guys say?
Yeah, they were just like, oh really, yeah. Yeah, so they'll probably be up there tonight trying to get some goes on the rides and stuff like that.
I know that you're leaving the next day or two. We'll not be more specific than that, but Brian Diamond from Portrush, thanks for chatting to us in Causeway Coast Community. It's terrific to have been invited by you aboard HMS Smiter. Thank you very much indeed.
No problem, thanks for coming.
For Causeway Coast Community, I'm Dennis McNeil.